brought to you by soundlibra.com. You can find a direct link to our full library in the description of this audio, or visit us anytime at soundlibra.com. We'll be discussing physical health and wellness, but this isn't medical advice, so please consult a professional before starting a new fitness or sleep routine.
It's an intriguing concept, Alex. A lot of people hear 5 a.m. and immediately think, no way. But there's clearly something more to it than just being an early bird.
Exactly, Lisa. And that's what we're going to explore. We're not just talking about setting an alarm. We're talking about crafting a strategic advantage, a way to set yourself up for success before the rest of the world even stirs. Think of it as your personal head start in life.
A personal head start. I like that. So, why 5 a.m. specifically? What's so magical about that particular hour?
There are several compelling reasons. Firstly, it's about reclaiming control. In our busy lives, so much is dictated by external forces, emails, meetings, social obligations. Waking up at 5 a.m. before those demands flood in gives you a block of time that is entirely yours. It's a quiet sanctuary to focus on what truly matters to you.
So, it's about prioritizing yourself before the day's demands kick in. That makes sense.
Precisely. This me time is crucial for mental clarity. When you wake up at 5 a.m., the world is generally quieter. There are fewer distractions, both external and internal. This allows your mind to settle, to process thoughts, and to approach the day with a sense of calm, rather than rushing into chaos. This early quiet is a powerful tool for problem solving and creative thinking.
I can see how that would lead to better decision making. Instead of reacting to things, you're proactively thinking.
Absolutely. And it's not just about mental calm. The benefits extend to our physical well-being too. For many, 5 a.m. offers a prime opportunity for exercise. Getting a workout in before the day starts boosts your metabolism, improves your mood through endorphin release, and sets a positive physical tone that can last all day. You're essentially energizing your body from the outset.
And I've heard that exercising in the morning can be more effective for some people than later in the day.
That's often the case. Your body might be more receptive to activity, and you avoid the temptation to skip it later due to tiredness or unexpected events. Think of it as locking in that crucial self-care activity. Beyond exercise, the early morning hour is also ideal for focused work. Whether it's a passion project, studying, or strategic planning, that uninterrupted time is gold. It's when your concentration is often at its peak, allowing for deep work and significant progress.
So, a combination of mental clarity, physical energy, and focused work. It sounds like a trifecta of benefits.
It truly is. And beyond these direct benefits, there's a psychological aspect. Successfully waking up at 5 a.m. and having a productive morning provides a powerful sense of accomplishment. This builds confidence and momentum. Imagine starting your day having already achieved something significant. Your workout, your writing, your planning. That feeling of accomplishment can propel you through the rest of your day, making minor challenges seem less daunting.
It's like a positive feedback loop. You achieve something early, feel good about it, and that motivates you to do more.
Exactly. This episode is about unveiling that advantage, this potential that the early morning holds. We're setting the foundation for all the practical strategies we'll explore. We know that for many, the idea of waking at 5 a.m. can feel daunting. We'll address those challenges, but first, we want you to understand why this is worth exploring. Why dedicate the early hours to yourself?
And for those who are already early risers, perhaps this will solidify why they feel so good about their routines and maybe offer some new ways to optimize that time.
Precisely. We're going to break down the common hurdles later, like overcoming that groggy feeling. We call it sleep inertia and building a morning routine that actually sticks. But first, we need to appreciate the core benefit. Early mornings offer a serene window for self-prioritization, yielding significant gains in mental clarity, physical vitality, and focused productivity.
So, to recap for our listeners, waking up at 5 a.m. provides a controlled, personal time for yourself. This leads to increased mental clarity because of fewer distractions, better physical energy from opportunities for exercise, and enhanced focused work due to peak concentration. Plus, the psychological boost of starting the day with an accomplishment can be incredibly motivating.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This is just the beginning of our journey into the 5 a.m. advantage. We've introduced the core concept today, the fundamental why behind this powerful morning strategy. We're so excited to guide you through the practical how in the episodes to come.
It sounds like a transformative approach. I'm already feeling more inspired to embrace the early hours.
And that's exactly the effect we hope to have. Our goal is to demystify the early morning, to show you it's not about punishment, but about empowerment. It's about taking that precious time and investing it in yourself, setting the stage for a more productive, fulfilling, and balanced life.
So, what's ahead for us, Alex? Where do we go from this foundational understanding of the 5 a.m. advantage?
Well, Lisa, many people here wake up early, and their immediate thought goes to the dreaded snooze button. So, we'll be tackling that very topic head on. We'll be debunking the snooze button and exploring why it might be sabotaging your morning, even though it feels so comforting in the moment.
Oh, a very relatable topic. I think a lot of our listeners will be eager to hear about that.
It's a common battle, and we'll provide some strategies to win it. Next episode, debunking the snooze button. Welcome back. Last time, we explored the profound why behind waking up early. Now, it's time to tackle one of the biggest hurdles, the dreaded snooze button.
Oh, the snooze button. It's like a siren song in the early morning, isn't it? Just a few more minutes of sleep, you tell yourself. But I've always suspected it does more harm than good. What's the real story behind hitting that button, Alex?
You're absolutely right, Lisa. That seemingly innocent little button can be a powerful saboteur of a productive and energized morning. From a biological standpoint, when your alarm goes off, your body is nudged out of a deeper sleep cycle. If you hit snooze, you're not just getting a bit more rest, you're initiating a fragmented sleep cycle. Imagine dipping in and out of sleep, never quite reaching a deep, restorative state again.
Fragmented sleep. That sounds like the opposite of restful. So, what actually happens in our bodies when we do this repeatedly?
Well, each time you snooze, you might fall back into a lighter stage of sleep. This can lead to what's often called sleep inertia. Sleep inertia is that groggy, disoriented feeling you have for a while after waking up. It's like your brain is struggling to fully boot up. The more you snooze, the longer and more intense that sleep inertia can become. You start your day feeling like you're wading through mud, rather than bounding forward with energy.
That makes so much sense. I definitely know that feeling of being heavy and sluggish for the first hour or so, even after what feels like enough sleep. So, it's not just about getting less sleep, but about the quality of that interrupted sleep. It's essentially tricking your brain into thinking it's still bedtime, over and over.
Precisely. And this cycle of hitting snooze and experiencing sleep inertia can have a ripple effect throughout your day. It can impact your alertness, your focus, your mood, and even your cognitive performance. You might find yourself less productive, more easily frustrated, or just generally feeling off because your body and brain never got the clean signal to properly wake up.
So, if the snooze button is the enemy, what are the strategies to defeat it? Because for many of us, it feels like an ingrained habit.
It absolutely can be, which is why we need a multi-pronged approach. First, let's talk about mindset. The most powerful tool against the snooze button is a clear intention and a compelling reason to get out of bed. In our last episode, we discussed finding your why for waking up at 5 a.m. That why isn't just for when you're getting ready the night before. It's the powerful motivator you need to access the moment your alarm rings.
So, connecting back to our purpose. Instead of thinking, ugh, I have to wake up, it's more like, I get to wake up and do my specific goal.
Exactly. Frame your morning not as a chore, but as an opportunity. Keep that why front and center. It could be the quiet time for personal reflection, the chance to exercise without distractions, or the dedicated study period for a new skill. Whatever your reason, make it a vivid and appealing picture in your mind before you even go to sleep.
That emotional connection sounds crucial. What about more immediate, tactical actions we can take the moment the alarm sounds?
Great question. One of the most effective tactics is to simply make your alarm harder to reach. Place your alarm clock, or your phone if you use it as an alarm, across the room. This requires you to physically get out of bed to turn it off. Once you're standing, the inertia of returning to your warm bed is much less appealing than the momentum you've already built.
Oh, that's a classic, but it works. The sheer act of standing up breaks the spell. It forces you to engage your body.
It really does. And while you're up, resist the urge to just stand there. Have a simple, immediate action plan for the first few minutes. This could be as simple as drinking a full glass of water, which is fantastic for rehydrating and kickstarting your metabolism. Or it could be stepping outside for a few moments to get some natural light, which is a powerful signal to your body that it's time to be awake.
Natural light is so important, isn't it? It helps regulate our internal body clock. And a glass of water. Simple, but effective. So, we're talking about making it physically inconvenient to hit snooze and having an immediate, positive action to transition into wakefulness.
That's the core of it. Another helpful strategy is to consider your alarm sound. Some people find very jarring alarms more effective, while others benefit from a gentler, more melodic sound that still commands attention. Experiment with what works for you, but the goal is an alert that is firm enough to wake you, but not so unpleasant that you immediately want to shut it off and hide under the covers.
So, finding the right wake-up call. And what about the mental aspect of resisting the temptation to snooze? It's like having a little devil on your shoulder.
Think of it as a negotiation. The devil says, just 5 more minutes. Your inner advocate reminds you of the groggy aftermath, the lost productivity, and your commitment to your morning goals. You can even preemptively negotiate with yourself the night before. Tell yourself, when the alarm rings, I will immediately stand up, go to the window, and take 3 deep breaths. By setting that mini goal, you've already decided your course of action.
That's a brilliant way to put it, pre-negotiating with yourself. It removes the decision-making pressure in that groggy state. We're essentially disabling the snooze button by making conscious, proactive choices.
Exactly. And if you slip up, because habits take time to change, don't beat yourself up. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and recommit to your strategy for the next morning. Change isn't always linear. The key is consistency over perfection. Remember the sleep inertia we talked about? Our goal is to minimize that by avoiding those fragmented sleep cycles. So the alarm goes off, you get up, you hydrate, you get natural light, and you engage in a simple, positive activity.
So, to recap for our listeners, the snooze button disrupts our sleep cycles, leading to sleep inertia, that groggy feeling. To conquer it, we need a strong why from our previous discussion, place our alarm out of reach, have an immediate action like drinking water or getting natural light, find a suitable alarm sound, and pre-negotiate our morning actions with ourselves. It's about building momentum from the very first moment the alarm sounds, rather than fighting against our own wakefulness.
You've got it, Lisa. By treating the snooze button as the enemy it is and employing these practical strategies, you can reclaim your mornings and start your day feeling truly awake and purposeful.
Fantastic advice, Alex. I think I'm actually looking forward to my alarm tomorrow morning now.
That's the spirit. Next episode, crafting your ideal morning blueprint. Welcome back. Last time we covered why waking up at 5 a.m. can be so beneficial and why hitting the snooze button might be sabotaging your day. Now, let's tackle crafting your ideal morning blueprint.
Exactly, Alex. So, last time we understood the why behind waking up earlier and the pitfalls of a snooze. This time, we're moving on to the how. How do we actually create a morning routine that works for us, not just a generic template? It's about building a personal roadmap.
That's right, Lisa. The key here is personalization. There's no one-size-fits-all morning routine. What works for a marathon runner might not work for a night shift nurse, or even for someone who thrives on quiet reflection versus someone who needs to hit the ground running with a workout. So, the very first step in crafting your blueprint is self-assessment. We need to understand our own needs, goals, and lifestyle.
Self-assessment. I like that. So, what kind of questions should listeners be asking themselves during this assessment phase?
Great question. Start by reflecting on your current energy levels and your ideal energy levels throughout the day. When do you typically feel most focused? When do you feel sluggish? What are your non-negotiable personal commitments, like family time or essential errands? Also, consider your overarching goals. Are you looking to boost productivity, improve your physical health, develop a new skill, or simply reduce stress? Your morning routine should serve these larger objectives.
So, it's about finding out who you are right now and who you want to become, and then seeing how your morning can bridge that gap. It's not just about waking up at 5 a.m., it's about what you do with that time.
Precisely. Once you have a clearer picture of your personal needs and goals, the next step is to identify the components of a morning routine that align with them. Think of it like building blocks. We talked about the importance of waking up earlier, and now we need to populate that extra time. What kind of activities could fit?
This is where it gets exciting. So, we're not just saying wake up early. We're saying wake up early and do this, and this. What are some core building blocks that listeners might consider? Given that we've established the benefit of an early start and the danger of the snooze.
Absolutely. Some foundational building blocks often include movement, mindfulness, learning, and planning. Movement can be anything from a short walk to a full gym session. Mindfulness could involve meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply quiet contemplation. Learning might mean reading a book, listening to a podcast, or spending time on a skill. And planning involves setting your intentions for the day.
Okay, so let's break those down a bit. For movement, it doesn't have to be an intense workout, right? It's about getting the blood flowing.
Exactly. The goal is to gently rouse your body and mind. Even 5 to 10 minutes of stretching or a brisk walk around the block can make a significant difference in waking you up and boosting your mood. It's about getting your body prepared for the day ahead.
And for mindfulness, you mentioned meditation. Are there other options for people who find sitting still difficult, or for whom meditation feels a bit intimidating at first?
Definitely. Mindfulness is about bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. For some, this is meditation. For others, it can be spending a few minutes looking out the window and noticing the sights and sounds, engaging in mindful breathing, or even a quiet cup of tea where you focus solely on the taste and warmth. The key is intentional presence. It's about calming the mental chatter that often comes with waking up.
That makes sense. So we're looking at a few core categories: physical activity, mental calm, something for personal growth, and then setting yourself up for the day.
You've got it. And the learning block is crucial for growth. This is your opportunity to invest in yourself. Perhaps you want to learn a new language, practice a musical instrument, or simply read a chapter of an inspiring book. Dedicating even 15 to 20 minutes to this can lead to significant long-term progress. Remember, consistent small steps build up over time.
And planning. This feels like the glue that holds it all together, ensuring that your morning actually serves a purpose beyond just being awake.
Precisely. The planning phase is where you align your morning activities with your daily intentions. This could involve reviewing your to-do list, prioritizing tasks, or setting a single, most important goal for the day. Remember when we discussed the benefits of waking up at 5 a.m.? This planning time makes that extra hour truly count.
So, to recap our building blocks: movement, mindfulness, learning, and planning. These are the fundamental elements we can mix and match. Now, how do we combine them into our personalized blueprint? It's not just about picking one, right?
No, it's about creating a sequence that flows. Think about your natural energy levels. If you feel groggy first thing, perhaps start with movement to wake your body up, followed by mindfulness to center your mind. Then, when you're feeling more alert, tackle learning or planning. Or if you're someone who likes to get straight to thinking, perhaps a brief mindfulness session, followed by planning your day and then the physical activity.
It's like designing a symphony of your morning. You have to consider the tempo and the mood of each section. And what about the timing? If we're waking up at 5 a.m., how much time should we allocate to each of these blocks?
This is where the ideal part comes in. Start with what feels manageable. If you're new to this, don't try to cram an hour of meditation, an hour of exercise, an hour of reading, and an hour of planning into your first 5 a.m. morning. That's a recipe for overwhelm. Begin with shorter durations. Maybe 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of reading, and 5 minutes of planning. That's still 25 minutes of dedicated, purposeful activity in that valuable early time.
So, it's about starting small and building. We don't have to have the perfect, fully formed routine on day one. It's an iterative process.
Exactly. Your blueprint isn't set in stone. It's a living document. As you experiment, you'll discover what truly resonates with you. You might find that you prefer journaling over reading, or that a short walk is more energizing than a full workout. The key is to be willing to experiment and adapt. Be patient with yourself. Building a new routine takes time and consistency.
And to connect back to our earlier discussions, the motivation we discussed for waking up at 5 a.m. and understanding why the snooze button is detrimental, these are still the underlying drivers for sticking with this blueprint. If you're clear on your why, those initial building blocks become much easier to implement.
Absolutely. Your blueprint should be a direct reflection of your why. If your goal is better health, movement and mindfulness will be prominent. If it's career growth, learning and planning will take center stage. Remember, the goal is to create a morning routine that supports your well-being and propels you towards your aspirations, not one that feels like a chore.
So, to summarize what we've covered today, crafting your ideal morning blueprint starts with honest self-assessment of your needs, goals, and lifestyle. Then we identify key building blocks like movement, mindfulness, learning, and planning. Finally, we arrange these blocks into a personalized sequence, starting small and being open to adaptation. It's about creating a routine that serves you.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. This personalized approach is what makes the 5 a.m. advantage truly sustainable and impactful.
Thank you, Alex. It's exciting to think about creating something so tailored.
Next episode, the power of evening preparation. Welcome back. Last time we crafted your ideal morning blueprint. Now let's tackle the power of evening preparation.
That's exactly what we're exploring today, Alex. I know you're a big proponent of this. It sounds simple, but how much of a difference can preparing the night before actually make to an early wake up?
Lisa, it's enormous. Think of it like this. If you're running a marathon, you don't just wake up on race day and decide to go. You train, you hydrate, you plan your nutrition, and you get a good night's sleep. Your morning routine, especially an early one, is very similar. If you go to bed late, stressed, or unprepared, that 5 a.m. alarm is going to feel like an enemy, not an opportunity.
I can definitely relate to that. Waking up groggy after a restless night is the worst. So, what are some of the key elements of this evening preparation? Where should listeners start?
The first and perhaps most impactful step is to do what we call closing out your day. This means tidying up loose ends from your workday and consciously shifting your mindset away from tasks and towards rest. This could involve a quick review of your to-do list for the following day. But more importantly, it's about mentally disengaging from work pressures.
So, it's like putting a punctuation mark on the day's work?
Exactly. And that leads us to the second key element, planning for tomorrow. This doesn't have to be an exhaustive, hours-long affair. It could be as simple as deciding what you're going to wear, packing your lunch if you bring one, or writing down the three most important tasks you need to accomplish first thing in the morning. This pre-planning reduces decision fatigue when you're still groggy.
That makes so much sense. If I know exactly what I need to do the moment I get up, it's less overwhelming. It's like having a clear launch pad.
Precisely. And this planning component directly supports the morning blueprint we discussed. If you've already decided your first task, your morning journaling, or your workout, those items are already set. You're not wasting precious morning minutes trying to figure out your next move.
Okay, so we're tidying up the day and planning for the following one. What else contributes to a successful evening that sets up an early morning?
The environment you create for sleep is paramount. This involves creating a sleep sanctuary in your bedroom, dimming the lights an hour or two before bed, ensuring the room is cool, dark, and quiet, and critically, reducing exposure to blue light from screens. That means putting away phones, tablets, and laptops.
Ah, the dreaded screens. I know I'm guilty of scrolling before bed. Why is that blue light so disruptive to sleep?
Blue light emitted from electronic devices tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. It suppresses the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep. So, by dimming the lights and avoiding screens, you're helping your body naturally wind down and produce the melatonin it needs.
That's a really good point. It's like you're giving your body the right signals to prepare for rest. So, if we're not on screens, what can we do in that hour or two before bed?
This is where we cultivate relaxing pre-sleep rituals. Some people enjoy reading a physical book, taking a warm bath, doing some light stretching, or practicing gentle meditation or deep breathing exercises. The goal is to choose activities that are calming and signal to your mind and body that it's time to transition into sleep mode.
I've been trying to incorporate reading before bed. It's a different kind of engagement than reading on a tablet. It feels more grounding.
Exactly. It's about creating a buffer zone between the day's activities and your sleep. This also includes being mindful of what you consume. Avoiding caffeine, heavy meals, and excessive alcohol close to bedtime is also part of evening preparation. These can all interfere with sleep quality.
So, to recap, we're focusing on closing out the day, planning for tomorrow, creating a sleep-conducive environment, and establishing relaxing pre-sleep rituals. These are all things we do in the evening to make that 5 a.m. wake up achievable and, dare I say, even pleasant.
You hit the nail on the head, Lisa. When you prepared your workspace, decided on your outfit, chosen your breakfast, and mentally wound down, that alarm going off at 5 a.m. no longer feels like an ambush. It feels like a well-supported beginning to a planned and productive day. It's about setting yourself up for success before your head even hits the pillow.
This really emphasizes that the morning routine isn't isolated. It's a continuous cycle that starts the night before. It's about being intentional, both throughout the day and in those final hours.
And for those who are really struggling with sleep, it's also worth considering your sleep schedule. If you're aiming for a 5 a.m. wake up and want around 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that means being in bed by 9 or 10 p.m. Establishing a consistent bedtime is just as crucial as establishing a consistent wake-up time.
Consistency is key, isn't it? It trains our body's internal clock.
Absolutely. This consistent evening preparation builds a foundation of good sleep hygiene. And good sleep hygiene is the bedrock upon which a thriving 5 a.m. morning routine is built. When your sleep is solid, your energy levels are higher, your focus is sharper, and your mood is more positive. All of these are essential for making the most of those early morning hours.
So, to our listeners, as you think about waking up earlier, don't forget the power of your evenings. By taking just a few proactive steps tonight, you're significantly increasing your chances of a successful and energizing morning tomorrow.
That's precisely the takeaway. Evening preparation isn't just an optional add-on. It's a fundamental pillar of the 5 a.m. advantage. It's about being strategic and giving yourself the best possible chance to win your mornings.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from closing out our workday to creating a sleep sanctuary and establishing calming rituals. Remember, a great morning truly begins the night before.
Indeed. Next episode, Conquering Sleep Inertia. Welcome back. Last time, we skillfully navigated around the snooze button. Today, we're tackling sleep inertia, that heavy, groggy feeling that can linger, making you feel foggy and unmotivated.
Exactly, Alex. It feels like your brain is still half asleep, even though your body is technically awake. It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brakes still on. You know you should be moving, but you're stuck in a fog. How do we ditch that feeling and actually feel alert and ready to go?
That's a great analogy, Lisa. So, let's define sleep inertia a bit more. It's a physiological state that occurs immediately following awakening. During sleep, certain parts of our brain, particularly those responsible for executive functions like decision-making and alertness, are less active. When you wake up abruptly, especially from deep sleep, there could be a lag in these areas becoming fully engaged. This lag is sleep inertia.
So it's not just laziness, it's a biological process. That's good to know. How long can this feeling typically last?
It varies significantly from person to person and depends on factors like sleep quality, how much deep sleep you've had, and even the time of day. For some, it might pass within a few minutes. For others, it can linger for 30 minutes to an hour, or even longer, significantly impacting the start of their day. The key is to have strategies to shorten that duration.
And we learned from episode 2 that immediately getting out of bed is a crucial first step. What else can we do once we're out of bed to combat this inertia?
Building on that immediate wake up, the most powerful tool is light. Exposure to bright light, especially natural sunlight, is one of the most effective ways to signal to your brain that it's time to wake up. When light hits your eyes, it travels to a part of your brain that acts like your body's internal clock.
So, opening the curtains is more than just letting in fresh air. It's like hitting a big reset button for our internal clock.
Precisely. If it's still dark outside, consider a light therapy lamp. These lamps emit a bright light that mimics natural daylight and can be very helpful, especially during winter months or if your bedroom is particularly dark. Aim for at least 10 to 20 minutes of bright light exposure as soon as possible after waking.
Okay, so light is one weapon against the groggy fog. What's another? I feel like a jolt of some kind helps shake things up.
You're on the right track. Movement is key. Engaging your body physically, even with light exercise, gets your blood circulating and boosts your metabolism. This increased blood flow delivers more oxygen to your brain, helping it to wake up faster. Think of it as jump-starting your internal engine.
This sounds like it ties into the idea of a morning routine. So, what kind of movement are we talking about? Do I need to do a full workout?
Not at all. The goal here is simply to get your body moving. This could be a few jumping jacks, some arm circles, a short walk around your house or yard, or a few stretches. The key is to get your heart rate up slightly and engage your muscles. Even a minute or two can make a difference.
So, light and movement. What else can we do to cut through that inertia faster? I often feel like my brain just needs a little stimulation.
You're thinking along the right lines, Lisa. Cognitive stimulation is also very effective. This means engaging your mind in a task that requires a bit of focus. Again, this doesn't need to be complex. Reading a few pages of a book, doing a quick crossword puzzle, listening to an engaging podcast, like this one, can all help jolt your brain into alertness.
Oh, I like that. So I can literally listen to you and Alex and feel more awake. That's a bonus. The key is to pick something that's mildly challenging but also enjoyable, so it doesn't feel like a chore.
Exactly. The activity should be engaging enough to pull you out of that sleepy state, but not so demanding that it causes stress. It's about gently nudging your brain in a higher gear. Another powerful and often overlooked element is hydration.
Hydration. Of course. I always feel better after a glass of water.
You do, and there's a scientific reason for that. During sleep, your body doesn't take in fluids, so you can wake up slightly dehydrated. Dehydration can contribute to feelings of fatigue and fogginess. Drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning can help rehydrate your body and brain, improving alertness and cognitive function.
So, to recap so far, we're using bright light to signal our brain, gentle movement to get our blood flowing, cognitive stimulation to engage our minds, and hydration to re energize our bodies. These are all actionable steps we can incorporate right after getting out of bed.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa, and it's important to remember that consistency plays a huge role. The more you practice these techniques, the more your body and brain will associate these actions with waking up fully. You're essentially training your brain to transition more quickly from sleep to wakefulness. Over time, you'll find that sleep inertia diminishes dramatically.
It's like building a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger and more efficient it becomes. So, for anyone struggling with that morning grogginess, even after avoiding the snooze button, these are powerful tools to add to their arsenal.
Absolutely. And remember, we're building on the foundations we laid earlier. The immediate wake up is step one, and these strategies are step two, designed to help you feel truly awake and ready to embrace your morning.
And they're not complicated. Simple, practical techniques that can have a big impact on how you feel for the rest of the day. When you're not fighting through that groggy fog, you have so much more energy and mental clarity to tackle your goals.
Precisely. So, to reiterate, let's make sure we anchor these key strategies. When you wake up, immediately expose yourself to bright light. Engage in some form of physical movement. Stimulate your mind with a gentle cognitive task and rehydrate with a glass of water. These four pillars will significantly help in conquering sleep inertia.
This is fantastic. It gives us concrete actions to take. It's not just about waking up, it's about waking up well.
Exactly. And that sets the stage for everything that follows in your morning. Feeling alert from the start means you can dive into your productive tasks, your journaling, your movement, whatever you've planned for your morning, with much more effectiveness and enthusiasm.
It's about reclaiming those crucial first hours of the day and making them truly yours, rather than losing them to that lingering grogginess.
Indeed. Next episode, the first hour productivity framework. Welcome back to the 5 a.m. advantage. Last time, we dove deep into conquering sleep inertia, that groggy feeling that can derail your morning before it even begins. Today, we're building on that momentum. We're unveiling a powerful framework for your very first hour, the critical 60 minutes that set the tone for your entire day.
Ah, the first hour. It feels like such a precious commodity when you're up before the sun. So, Alex, what exactly is this framework? How do we make those first 60 minutes count?
Great question, Lisa. Think of this first hour not just as waking up, but as actively building your day. We're going to break it down into manageable, impactful blocks. The core idea is to move from gentle awakening to focused action. We'll call this the first hour productivity framework.
First hour productivity framework. I like the sound of that. It implies intention and results. What are the key components of this framework?
We'll structure it into three main phases, each with a specific purpose. The first phase is all about gentle activation. The second is about mental preparation and planning. And the third is about initiating focused work or a meaningful activity.
So, it's a progression, not just jumping out of bed and straight into tasks.
Exactly. Phase 1, the first 15 minutes, is about gentle awakening and hydration. Remember how we talked about sleep inertia? This phase is designed to combat that naturally. The moment your alarm goes off, we want you to resist the urge to immediately grab your phone. Instead, focus on a few simple, calming actions.
What kind of actions?
First, and most importantly, hydration. Have a glass of water readily available by your bedside. Drinking water first thing in the morning rehydrates your body after hours without fluid intake and kickstarts your metabolism gently. It's like watering a plant that's been dry all night.
That makes so much sense. I always feel better after a glass of water. What else in these first 15 minutes?
Some light stretching or deep breathing exercises. Nothing strenuous, just enough to get your blood flowing and your lungs filled with fresh air. Imagine slowly waking up your muscles and calming your mind. This also helps signal to your brain that it's time to be awake and alert, but without the jarring rush. We're aiming for a sense of calm readiness, not a frantic scramble.
So, water, a bit of movement, and deep breaths. That sounds very grounding. And that's the first 15 minutes of this framework?
That's right. Then we move into phase 2, which we'll dedicate another 15 minutes to. This is the mindful planning and gratitude block. This phase is about setting your intentions and framing your mindset positively.
Okay, so we're awake, hydrated, and a little less groggy. Now what?
Now, you take a moment to reflect. This could involve a quick journaling session or simply thinking about 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what you have, creating a powerful positive foundation for the day. It's like choosing the lens through which you'll view everything that follows.
The gratitude practice we touched on briefly earlier, but now in a specific time slot.
Precisely. And after that gratitude, you'll spend a few minutes planning your top priorities for the day. Think of it as creating a mini roadmap. What are the 1 to 3 most important tasks you need to accomplish today? Identifying these up front prevents you from feeling overwhelmed or jumping between less critical activities. We want to ensure your energy is directed where it matters most.
This is so helpful. Instead of just reacting to emails or urgent requests, you're proactively deciding what's important.
Exactly. And this mindful planning helps prevent decision fatigue later in the day. By making these choices early, you free up mental energy. So, to recap phase 2, 15 minutes dedicated to gratitude and identifying your top 1 to 3 priorities for the day.
Got it. Gentle awakening and hydration, then mindful planning and gratitude. That gets us to the 30-minute mark of our first hour. What's the final phase?
Phase 3, the final 30 minutes, is where we initiate focused action. This is where you start tackling one of those prioritized tasks. The key here is deep focus. You've already done the warming up and the planning. Now, you engage in meaningful work.
So, you're actually doing something productive during this time.
Yes, this could be writing, working on a creative project, studying, or even engaging in a particularly important work task. The crucial element is to do this without distractions. This is the time to put your phone on silent, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and create an environment conducive to concentration.
This is where the digital detox we'll talk about later becomes so important, isn't it? To protect this focus time.
Absolutely. Protecting this focused work block from interruptions is paramount. If these prioritized tasks are longer, you might break them down into smaller, actionable steps. The goal is to achieve momentum and make tangible progress on something that truly moves the needle for your day, your goals, or your life. This is where you build momentum.
So, to be clear, we've got 15 minutes for gentle activation and hydration. Then another 15 minutes for planning and gratitude. And now, the final 30 minutes are for engaging in focused work on your most important task. That's the entire first hour.
That's the first hour productivity framework. 15 minutes of gentle awakening, 15 minutes of mindful planning, and 30 minutes of focused action. It's designed to be a seamless transition from sleep to productive engagement. It's about building intention into your morning, rather than letting the morning happen to you.
And the beauty of it is, it's adaptable, right? Someone might have a different top priority or a different type of work.
Yes, the type of focus in the third phase will vary for everyone and for different days. But the structure, the intentional allocation of time for activation, planning, and then action, remains consistent. It's a repeatable blueprint for maximizing your early morning. By the end of this hour, you've not only woken up effectively, but have also accomplished something meaningful and set a positive trajectory for the rest of your day.
It really sounds like a fantastic way to seize the morning. It moves beyond just getting up early to actively using that early time wisely. We've covered gentle awakening and hydration, then mindful planning and gratitude, and finally, initiating focused action. This framework is a powerful tool for anyone looking to elevate their mornings.
It truly is. And coming up, we'll be diving even deeper into specific practices that fit wonderfully into these phases like journaling, movement, and fueling your body. But for now, make this first hour productivity framework your goal. Try implementing it tomorrow and see the difference it makes.
I'm definitely going to try it. It feels like a very achievable and impactful way to start the day.
Excellent. So, to quickly summarize our first hour productivity framework, we start with 15 minutes for gentle awakening and hydration, then dedicate another 15 minutes to mindful planning and gratitude. And finally, we move into 30 minutes of focused action on our top priorities. This establishes a powerful, intentional start to your day. Next episode, journaling for clarity and growth. Welcome back. Last time, we dove into the first hour productivity framework, giving you actionable strategies to make those crucial early hours count.
And it was packed with so many great ideas. We talked about moving from just waking up to actively engaging with your goals. It really set the stage for today's topic, which I'm personally super excited about: journaling for clarity and growth.
Absolutely, Lisa. Journaling can feel like a simple act, but its impact on your morning, your self-awareness, and your ability to achieve goals is profound. Think of it as a direct line to your inner thoughts and aspirations.
And sometimes those inner thoughts can be a bit jumbled, right? So, when we talk about journaling, what exactly are we aiming for in those first few minutes of the day?
That's a great question. In the context of a 5 a.m. morning, journaling isn't about writing a novel. It's about intention. It's about taking a few moments to bring clarity to your mind before the demands of the day begin. So, we're looking for quick, impactful writing exercises. We want to set a positive tone, process any lingering thoughts from the night, and align ourselves with our goals.
So, it's like a mental reset button, but with a pen and paper or a keyboard.
Exactly. And there are so many ways to approach it. We've talked about the importance of planning and morning blueprints, and journaling is a perfect way to flesh that out. One of the most powerful techniques for morning clarity is a gratitude journal.
Ah, gratitude.
That's something we hear a lot about, but how does it fit into a structured morning routine specifically?
It's incredibly foundational. When you start your day by consciously acknowledging things you're grateful for, you shift your entire perspective. Instead of focusing on what you lack or what challenges lie ahead, you start from a place of abundance and positivity. This can be as simple as listing 3 things you're thankful for. It could be your health, your family, a good cup of coffee, or even just the quiet of the early morning.
So, just acknowledging those simple things can really change the emotional landscape of your morning?
It truly can. By consistently practicing gratitude journaling, you train your brain to look for the good. This positive bias carries with you throughout the day, making you more resilient to stress and more appreciative of your experiences. Remember when we discussed building a positive morning blueprint? Gratitude journaling is a cornerstone of that because it directly cultivates a positive mindset.
That makes so much sense. Shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset right out of the gate. What about if someone's feeling a bit anxious or overwhelmed? Is journaling still helpful then?
Absolutely. For those moments, a technique called brain dumping or thought clearing can be incredibly effective. You simply write down everything that's swirling in your mind, worries, to-do list items, stray thoughts, without censoring yourself. The goal isn't to find solutions immediately, but to get those thoughts out of your head and on a paper.
So, it's like emptying a cluttered mental inbox?
Precisely. Once those thoughts are externalized, they often seem less daunting. You can then look at your brain dump and identify what truly needs your attention, what can be parked for later, and what's perhaps just a fleeting worry. It's a way to regain control over your thoughts.
I can see how that would create immense relief. It's not about solving everything in the morning, but about organizing the chaos.
Exactly. And another powerful journaling practice, especially for goal achievement, is writing to your future self. Imagine you've successfully achieved a goal you're working towards. Now, write a letter from that future you back to your present self.
Wow, that's a fascinating concept. What would that look like in practice?
You'd write from the perspective of having already accomplished something significant. You describe what it feels like, what steps you took, the challenges you overcame, and the lessons you learn along the way. This isn't about fantasy. It's about creating a motivational blueprint. It helps you visualize success and internalize the journey.
So, it's like giving yourself a pep talk from the future with the wisdom of hindsight?
That's a perfect way to put it. It reinforces your belief in your ability to achieve your goals and provides a roadmap, even if it's an intuitive one. This connects back to our earlier discussions on crafting your morning blueprint and setting intentions. This practice anchors your daily actions to your long-term vision.
This is brilliant. So, we have gratitude journaling for positivity, brain dumping for clarity, and future self writing for motivation and goal setting. Are there any other types of journaling that fit well into a morning routine?
Yes, for personal growth, there's a technique called self-reflection journaling. This involves asking yourself specific questions to understand your progress and identify areas for improvement. For example, you might ask, what was one challenge I faced yesterday and how did I handle it? Or, what is one thing I learned yesterday?
That's about actively dissecting your experiences to learn from them.
Precisely. It encourages introspection and helps you recognize patterns in your behavior and thinking. This proactive self-awareness is crucial for continuous improvement and for avoiding repeating mistakes. Remember our mention of building lasting habits? Regular self-reflection is key to understanding what's working and what needs adjustment in your habit-building journey.
So, we've covered quite a spectrum: gratitude for positivity, brain dumping for mental clutter, future self writing for goal motivation, and self reflection for personal growth. It really shows how versatile journaling can be.
It is incredibly versatile. The key is to find what resonates with you and to be consistent. Even 5 to 10 minutes of focused journaling each morning can yield significant benefits. It's about making that quiet time work for you, setting a positive trajectory for your day, and fostering a deeper understanding of yourself.
And as Alex mentioned, the consistency is key. It's not just about the act of writing, but about building a habit of checking in with yourself, understanding your inner landscape, and actively moving towards your goals with intention. It's about making your morning a launch pad, not just for productivity, but for personal evolution.
Well said, Lisa. So, to recap, we've explored several powerful journaling techniques. Gratitude journaling to cultivate positivity, brain dumping to clear mental clutter, future self-writing to gain motivation and clarity on goals, and self-reflection journaling to foster continuous growth. Each of these offers a unique pathway to enhance your morning and, by extension, your life.
It's amazing how much you can achieve in those quiet morning hours when you approach them with intention and the right tools. Journaling is a truly accessible and powerful tool for anyone looking to gain clarity and foster personal growth.
Next episode, movement as a morning catalyst. Welcome back. Last time, we explored journaling for clarity and growth. Today, we're shifting gears to something equally crucial for a vibrant morning: movement.
Movement. I love this topic. It's so easy to feel sluggish first thing, and even with the best intentions, sometimes getting out of bed feels like a monumental task. So, Alex, why is morning movement such a game changer?
That's a fantastic question, Lisa. When we talk about movement in the morning, we're not just talking about breaking a sweat. We're talking about waking up our bodies and minds, shaking off that sleep inertia, and igniting our energy levels. Think about it. After a night of rest, our bodies are essentially in a state of low activity. Introducing gentle or energizing movement signals to your body that it's time to wake up and get going. It's like slowly turning up the dimmer switch on your internal engine, rather than just flipping the on switch.
I like that analogy. So it's about easing into the day, but actively easing into it. What are the immediate benefits we can expect from incorporating some physical activity into our early morning routine?
The benefits are multifaceted. Firstly, it significantly boosts circulation. When you move, your heart pumps blood more efficiently, delivering vital oxygen and nutrients to your brain and muscles. This can lead to improved focus and cognitive function almost immediately. Have you ever noticed how a brisk walk can help you think more clearly?
Absolutely. Sometimes when I'm stuck on a problem, a short walk is all it takes to unlock the solution.
Exactly. That's your brain getting that extra oxygen. Another key benefit of morning movement is releasing those feel-good chemicals called endorphins. Endorphins act as natural mood boosters and pain relievers. So, starting your day with movement can set a positive emotional tone for the entire day ahead, helping to combat any feelings of stress or anxiety that might be lingering from the night before.
That explains why exercise can feel so uplifting. It's not just in our heads.
Precisely. And building on that, movement helps to regulate our circadian rhythm, our internal body clock. Consistent morning movement, especially if it involves some exposure to natural light, helps to signal to your body that it's daytime. This can lead to better sleep quality at night, creating a positive feedback loop for your overall well-being. It's about harmonizing your internal rhythms with the natural cycle of day and night.
So, it's not just about the hour before your workday starts. It has a ripple effect on the entire 24-hour cycle. That's powerful. Now, for those of us who are very new to this, or perhaps still struggling with the get up and go part, what are some accessible types of movement we can incorporate? We don't all have to be marathon runners at 5 a.m.
Absolutely not. And that's a crucial point. The goal is to create a sustainable habit that works for you. For many, a gentle start is best. This could be something as simple as mindful stretching. Think about holding poses that open up your chest and lengthen your spine. This not only wakes up your muscles, but also encourages deeper breathing, which is incredibly calming and grounding.
I've found that simple neck rolls and shoulder shrugs can make a huge difference in releasing the tension I didn't even realize I was holding on to.
Exactly. Those small movements are incredibly effective. Another great option is yoga. There are so many fantastic beginner-friendly yoga routines available specifically for mornings. They often combine gentle movement with breath work and mindfulness. It's a holistic way to connect your body and mind.
I've seen those 5-minute morning yoga videos, and they look so inviting.
They are. And that's the beauty of it, starting small. For those who feel a bit more energized, a brisk walk is an excellent choice. It gets your heart rate up, you get fresh air, and it's a fantastic way to clear your head before diving into your tasks. If you live somewhere with safe walking paths or a quiet neighborhood, this could be incredibly rewarding.
What about something a little more vigorous for those who like a challenge?
Of course, if you're someone who thrives on a more intense workout, don't shy away from it. A short, high-intensity interval training session, or HIIT, can be incredibly time-efficient and energizing. Or perhaps a home-based bodyweight circuit, focusing on compound movements that work multiple muscle groups. The key with more vigorous exercise is to ensure you're properly warmed up and that it doesn't leave you utterly depleted for the rest of your day. We want to catalyze productivity, not consume all our energy.
That makes sense. It's about finding that sweet spot between energizing and exhausting. You mentioned connecting this back to our first hour productivity framework from episode 6. How does morning movement amplify that framework?
Great question, Lisa. Remember that framework? We talked about clearing your mind, setting intentions, and then engaging in focused work. Morning movement directly supports all of those. By getting your body moving, you're actively clearing mental clutter. The endorphin release helps to put you in a positive and focused headspace. This elevated physical and mental state makes you much more receptive to setting clear intentions and then diving into that focused work.
So, if I've done some stretching or a quick walk, I'm essentially priming my brain and body to be more receptive to the intention setting and focused work parts of the framework. It's like preparing the soil before you plant the seeds.
Precisely. You're not trying to work from a place of grogginess or low energy. You're starting from a place of heightened awareness and physical readiness. This makes that first hour of your day significantly more impactful. We're talking about the difference between slowly waking up and sputtering in emotion versus launching into your day with purpose and drive. Movement is a powerful launch pad.
I can see how that would translate to greater productivity. It's about setting that positive momentum right from the start. Now, for some listeners, the idea of any morning exercise might still feel like a mountainous challenge. What are your top tips for making this a consistent habit?
The first, and perhaps most important, tip is to start small. Don't try to go from 0 to a full hour of intense exercise. Begin with just 5 or 10 minutes of gentle stretching. See how that feels. The day after, maybe add another 5 minutes or try a slightly different stretch. Consistency over intensity is key in the beginning.
So, it's a gradual build-up, not an all-or-nothing approach.
Exactly. My second tip is to prepare the night before. Lay out your exercise clothes, have your water bottle ready, and know what your chosen movement will be. Eliminating as many decision points as possible in the morning reduces friction and makes it easier to get started.
That's a great practical tip. Remove the barriers before they even appear.
My third tip is to find something you genuinely enjoy. If you hate running, don't force yourself to run. Explore different options. Try dancing to your favorite music for 10 minutes. Do some bodyweight exercises in your living room. Or find a short online guided meditation that includes movement. When it's enjoyable, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a reward.
That's so true. When you look forward to something, it's much easier to do it.
My fourth tip is accountability. This could be finding an exercise buddy, joining an online fitness group, or simply telling a friend about your morning movement goal. Knowing someone else is aware of your commitment can be a powerful motivator.
Having an accountability partner can make a huge difference. It's like having a little cheer squad in your corner.
And finally, be patient and kind to yourself. There will be days when you don't feel like moving, and that's okay. Don't let one missed day derail your entire effort. Acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and get back on track the next day. Building habits takes time and persistence. Remember, this is about creating a sustainable advantage, not a perfect performance every single day.
So, to recap, we've explored why morning movement is vital for waking up our bodies and minds, boosting circulation and mood, and regulating our internal clocks. We've discussed various forms of movement, from gentle stretching to more vigorous workouts, and how they directly support our first hour productivity framework by priming us for focus and intention setting. And you've shared some excellent tips for making movement a consistent part of our mornings, Start small, prepare the night before, find what you enjoy, seek accountability, and be patient with yourself.
You got it. Incorporating movement into your early morning routine is not about adding another task to your to-do list. It's about creating a powerful foundation for a more energetic, focused, and productive day. It's a catalyst that sets everything else in motion. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we ignited our mornings with movement, exploring how physical activity can be a powerful catalyst for energy and focus. Today, we're fueling our morning engine with the right nutrition.
Absolutely, Alex. We've talked about waking up early, conquering that snooze button, planning your routine, and even getting your body moving. But if you're not giving your body the right fuel, all that effort can go to waste. It's like having a beautiful car with a stunning design, but putting in low-grade fuel, it just won't perform.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. Think of your body as a high-performance machine. When you wake up, especially after a period of fasting overnight, your energy stores are low. What you eat first thing sets the tone for your blood sugar levels, your cognitive function, and your overall energy throughout the morning. We want sustained energy, not a quick spike followed by a crash.
So, for those of us who are up at 5 a.m., what does the right fuel actually look like? It's so easy to grab something quickly, or even skip breakfast altogether, but you're saying that's a mistake?
Precisely. Skipping breakfast or opting for sugary, processed items is a common pitfall. This often leads to that mid-morning slump we all dread. We're aiming for a breakfast that provides a good balance of protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. This combination helps to stabilize blood sugar, keeping you feeling full and energized for longer.
Okay, let's break that down. Protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs. Can you give us some examples of what that looks like in practice for a morning meal? Because sometimes when I think healthy breakfast, I just picture a plain bowl of oatmeal.
Oatmeal can be a great base, but we can absolutely supercharge it. For complex carbohydrates, rolled oats or steel-cut oats are fantastic choices. They release energy slowly. To that, we can add protein by stirring in some Greek yogurt or topping it with a few nuts or seeds like chia seeds or flax seeds, which also contribute healthy fats. A sprinkle of berries adds antioxidants and a touch of natural sweetness.
So instead of just plain oatmeal, a bowl of Greek yogurt with oats, berries, and a few almonds. That sounds delicious and much more substantial. What about other options?
Another excellent option is eggs. Eggs are a complete protein and provide healthy fats. You can scramble them, fry them, or make an omelet. Pair them with a slice of whole wheat toast. That's your complex carb, and some avocado for healthy fats and fiber. If you're feeling more adventurous, a vegetable omelet packed with spinach, peppers, and mushrooms is a nutrient powerhouse.
I love eggs. And pairing them with avocado toast is such a popular combination these days. It makes sense why it's so effective for sustained energy. So, we're looking for meals that give us that steady release of energy. What should we be actively avoiding then if we want to power through our mornings?
The biggest culprits are refined sugars and overly processed foods. Think sugary cereals, pastries, muffins, donuts, and even mini breakfast bars. These often contain a lot of added sugar and refined flours, which cause a rapid spike in blood sugar followed by a sharp drop. This leads to fatigue, irritability, and brain fog. Also, be mindful of sugary drinks like many fruit juices. While they might seem healthy, they can be loaded with sugar without the beneficial fiber of whole fruit.
That makes sense. It's that quick energy rush that leaves you feeling worse later. So, for someone who has very little time, what are some quick, grab and go options that still fit these criteria?
Absolutely. Smoothies are fantastic for this. You can blend spinach, a banana, some almond milk or Greek yogurt for protein, and a tablespoon of nut butter for healthy fats and flavor. It's a complete meal in a cup that takes just a minute or two to make. Alternatively, hard-boiled eggs are perfect for pre-preparation. You can boil a batch at the beginning of the week and have them ready to go. Pair them with a piece of fruit, like an apple or a pear, for some fiber and natural sweetness.
Pre-preparing is key, isn't it? We've talked about evening preparation for our morning routine, and that definitely extends to breakfast.
Exactly. Spending a few minutes the night before can make all the difference. You can portion out your oats, chop vegetables for an omelet, or make your smoothie pack. This removes the barrier of having to think and prepare when you're likely still groggy at 5 a.m.
So, for our listeners, the takeaway is this: don't underestimate the power of a balanced breakfast. Aim for protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates to sustain your energy and focus throughout your morning. Avoid sugary cereals, pastries, and processed foods that lead to energy crashes. And remember, preparation is your friend.
That's a great summary, Lisa. And remember, this isn't about restrictive dieting, but about making conscious choices that support your goals. When you fuel your body optimally, you'll find it much easier to tackle your tasks, stay focused, and truly harness that 5 a.m. advantage. It complements the movement we discussed last time so well. When your body is moving and you're providing it with the right nutrients, you're creating a powerful synergy.
It's like building a strong foundation. We've covered the early wake up, the mindset, the physical preparation, and now the nutritional fuel. It's all working together.
Indeed. So, as you plan your ideal morning blueprint, make sure to prioritize what you're putting into your body. It's a direct investment in your productivity and well-being.
We've covered a lot of ground in fueling our morning engine.
Next episode, Digital Detox, Reclaiming Your Morning Focus. Welcome back. Last time we explored how to properly fuel your morning engine.
And what an energizing topic that was. Today, though, we're diving into something that is absolutely vital for a truly focused and productive morning.
Absolutely, Lisa. Today, we're tackling the digital detox, how to reclaim your morning focus from the constant pull of our screens.
Ah, the screens. My phone is practically fused to my hand some mornings. I know I'm not alone in that. It's so tempting to just grab it the second you wake up, right?
It is incredibly tempting. Our devices are designed to be engaging, to pull us in with notifications, emails, and endless scrolling. But that constant bombardment of external stimuli right at the start of your day can completely derail your intentions. You set out to journal, meditate, or exercise, and suddenly you're 2 hours deep into someone else's social media feed.
So, how do we fight that urge? What's the first step in a digital detox for our mornings?
The first and most crucial step is preparation. Just like we prepare our bodies with breakfast or our minds with a plan, we need to prepare our environment. This means consciously deciding before you go to bed that your bedroom, for example, is a screen-free zone during your morning routine.
A screen-free zone. That sounds radical. So, no phone on the nightstand?
Precisely. Ideally, charge your phone in another room. If you absolutely need it for an alarm, use a dedicated alarm clock instead. Or, if you must use your phone, put on airplane mode and place it as far away from your bed as possible. Even the act of having to get out of bed to retrieve it can be enough of a barrier.
Okay, so physically removing the temptation. What else can we do once we're actually awake and in our screen-free morning environment?
It's about creating intentionality. When you wake up, your first action shouldn't be to check your phone. It should be to engage in one of your pre-planned morning activities. This reinforces the purpose of your early start. Think of it like this. Your morning is a blank canvas, and you get to choose the first brushstroke. If that first stroke is a notification from a stranger, your entire painting for the day can be influenced by it.
That's a great analogy, Alex. So, instead of passively reacting to what the digital world throws at us, we're proactively engaging with our own goals. What about the emails and messages that pile up? The fear of missing out, or FOMO, is real.
It is, and that fear is often amplified by the constant connectivity. One effective strategy is to designate a specific time after your core morning routine to check your emails and messages. This could be your first coffee break, or perhaps once you've started your work for the day. The key is to push that engagement outside of your precious, focused morning time.
So, we're establishing boundaries. Our mornings belong to us, not to the digital world. Are there any specific techniques to help us resist the pull if we do find ourselves glancing at our phones?
Yes, and this ties back to progressive building. If going cold turkey feels too difficult, start small. Perhaps commit to the first 30 minutes of your morning being screen-free. Then gradually increase that block of time. You can also use app timers or website blockers to limit your access to distracting sites and applications during certain hours. Even changing your phone's wallpaper to a calming, screen-free image can serve as a subtle reminder.
I like the idea of gradually increasing the screen-free time. It feels more sustainable. And those app timers, I can see how they'd be incredibly helpful for someone like me who gets easily lost down an internet rabbit hole.
Exactly. Another powerful tool is to consciously mute notifications for non-essential apps during your morning hours. Those constant pings and vibrations are designed to pull your attention away. By muting them, you're essentially telling your digital world, I'm busy right now, attend to me later.
So, we're taking control back. It's not about completely abandoning technology. It's about using it mindfully and intentionally, especially in the morning. What are some of the benefits people can expect from this digital detox?
The benefits are profound. Firstly, it significantly enhances your focus. Without the constant interruptions, your brain can concentrate on the task at hand, leading to deeper work and greater efficiency. Secondly, it reduces stress and anxiety. Constantly reacting to digital demands can be exhausting. Creating a calm, screen-free morning allows your mind to settle.
That makes so much sense. When you're not jumping from one urgent digital request to another, you just feel calmer.
Precisely. And this leads to a greater sense of control over your day. You start your morning by making deliberate choices that align with your goals, rather than being dictated by external forces. This sense of agency can have a ripple effect throughout your entire day.
So, to recap, Alex, the key to a digital detox in our mornings involves preparing our environment by keeping screens out of the bedroom, establishing intentionality by focusing on pre-planned activities first, and setting boundaries by designating specific times for checking emails and messages.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. Remember, this isn't about becoming a Luddite. It's about reclaiming your most valuable asset, your focused attention. By creating a screen-free sanctuary in your morning, you empower yourself to start the day with clarity, purpose, and significantly less digital distraction.
It sounds like a powerful way to really own your mornings. I'm definitely going to try implementing more of these strategies.
Next episode, Real Life 5 a.m. Success Stories, Part 1. Welcome back. Last time we covered digital detox, and now we're diving into real-life success stories.
Absolutely, Alex. It's one thing to learn the techniques, but it's another to see them in action and understand the real-world impact. I'm really looking forward to hearing these examples.
Me too, Lisa. Today, we're starting with part 1 of our success stories. We've gathered examples from individuals in diverse fields, from creatives to entrepreneurs, to people focused on personal growth. The common thread? They've all found a significant advantage by making that early morning commitment.
So, who's first on our list?
Let's start with Sarah, a freelance graphic designer. Sarah used to struggle with deadlines and creative block. Her mornings were chaotic, often starting with a mad dash to get organized after hitting snooze multiple times. She felt like she was always playing catch up.
That sounds so familiar to many listeners, I imagine. What changed for her?
Sarah decided to implement a 5 a.m. routine. She didn't change everything overnight. Initially, her goal was simply to wake up at 5:30 a.m., just to have a quiet hour before her workday officially began. Her first hour was dedicated to focused work on her passion projects, the ones that often got pushed aside.
So, she prioritized her creative self before the client demands kicked in. I like that.
Exactly. And the results were profound. Within a month, she noticed a significant increase in her creative output. She was completing personal projects that had been lingering for years. This not only boosted her portfolio, but also gave her a renewed sense of accomplishment and confidence, which spilled over into her client work. The stress of deadlines started to melt away because she was proactively getting ahead.
That's fantastic. It shows how that dedicated time, even if it's just an hour, can make a huge difference in not just productivity, but also in overall well being.
Precisely. Now, let's shift gears and look at Mark, a budding entrepreneur. Mark was working a demanding corporate job while trying to launch his own tech startup. His evenings were filled with blurred lines between work and personal life, and his sleep schedule was all over the place. He felt exhausted and perpetually behind on his startup goals.
The classic entrepreneurial hustle, but without a sustainable structure, it can lead to burnout.
That's exactly what was happening. Mark adopted a 5 a.m. routine, not just for himself, but specifically for his startup. He designated the first 2 hours of his day, from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., as his startup power hours. During this time, he completely shut off all other distractions. No emails, no social media, just pure focus on developing his business plan, networking, and tackling the most critical tasks.
2 hours of uninterrupted deep work before most people have even had their first coffee. That's powerful. How did that impact his venture?
Within 6 months, his startup gained significant traction. He was able to secure initial funding, build a strong foundational product, and even attract his first few clients. He credits his 5 a.m. routine with allowing him to make consistent progress on his startup without sacrificing his corporate job entirely at first. It gave him the momentum and clarity needed to make the leap and go full time with his business much sooner than he ever expected. He called it his secret weapon for staying ahead.
What a testament to focused effort. It's not just about waking up early, but about what you do with that early time.
Absolutely. And it's not just about professional success. Let's talk about Emily, who is focused on personal development and mindfulness. Emily felt overwhelmed by the constant demands of family life and her part-time job. She rarely had time for herself, and her mental well-being was suffering.
That's a common challenge, especially for those juggling multiple responsibilities.
It is. Emily decided to start her day at 5 a.m. with a focus on self-care. Her first hour wasn't about tasks or productivity in the traditional sense. She dedicated it to quiet reflection, journaling, and meditation. Sometimes she would just sit with a cup of tea and enjoy the silence.
So, her early morning was about nurturing her inner world.
Precisely. And the impact was transformative. Emily started noticing a significant reduction in her stress and anxiety levels. She felt more centered, patient, and present in her daily interactions with her family. This quiet time allowed her to process her thoughts and emotions, leading to better decision-making and a more positive outlook on life. She found it helped her manage the inevitable challenges of her busy schedule with much greater grace.
It's fascinating how that dedicated personal time can ripple outwards, improving all areas of life. So, Sarah found creative freedom, Mark accelerated his entrepreneurial journey, and Emily cultivated inner peace. These are such diverse yet equally impactful outcomes.
They really are. And these are just three examples. The underlying principle for all of them is intentionally carving out protected time before the demands of the day begin and using that time purposefully. Sarah used it for focused creative work. Mark for business development, and Emily for mental and emotional rejuvenation.
It reinforces the idea that a 5 a.m. routine isn't a one-size-fits-all prescription. It's about adapting the principles to your own life and goals. You identify what's most important to you and dedicate that precious morning hour to it.
Exactly. When we spoke about crafting your morning blueprint in episode 3, remember we emphasized the importance of personalization. These stories are powerful illustrations of that. They show that with consistent effort and a clear intention, the 5 a.m. advantage can manifest in incredible ways, tailored to the individual. Remember how we discussed building a structure that supports your ambitions? These individuals did just that.
And it highlights that it's not always about grand achievements, but about making consistent, incremental progress in areas that truly matter to you.
Indeed, we've seen how dedicated creative time can unlock artistry, how focused entrepreneurial hours can build a business, and how quiet self-reflection can foster profound inner peace. These stories demonstrate that by taking control of your mornings, you're taking control of your day, your week, and ultimately, your life's trajectory.
It's truly motivating to hear these real-world transformations. It makes the concept of an early start feel much more accessible and achievable.
That's our goal. We want to inspire you to see the potential within your own mornings. These stories are just the beginning.
I'm already looking forward to hearing more.
Next episode, Real Life 5 a.m. Success Stories, Part 2. Welcome back. Last time, we explored real-life success stories of people embracing the early morning. Now, let's look at more inspiring case studies.
It's so exciting to hear how these principles translate into tangible results for everyday people. Last episode really got me thinking about the possibilities. What inspiring stories do you have for us today, Alex?
Today, we're going to meet Emily, a busy parent and a passionate artist, and Mark, someone who used his mornings to pivot his entire career. These stories highlight how a consistent 5 a.m. routine can unlock potential we might not even know we have.
A parent and an artist. That sounds like a recipe for a packed schedule. I'm really curious to hear how Emily manages to fit in an early start, let alone creative time.
Absolutely. Emily was feeling completely overwhelmed. She was juggling work, childcare, and her lifelong dream of painting. By the time evening rolled around, she was exhausted, and her creative endeavors were always the first thing to get pushed aside. She felt like she was constantly in reactive mode, just trying to keep up.
That sounds incredibly familiar to so many listeners, I'm sure. That feeling of never having enough time for yourself, especially for things that bring you joy.
Exactly. So, Emily decided to try the 5 a.m. routine. Her goal wasn't necessarily to become a world-famous artist overnight, but simply to reclaim an hour for herself, for her art. She started by dedicating that first hour from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. to painting. She even set up a small easel in her living room, so it was ready to go.
Having the space set up is such a smart tip. It removes a barrier, doesn't it? Making it easy to start.
Precisely. And it worked wonders. That quiet, uninterrupted hour was a game changer for her. She found that her creativity flowed more freely without the distractions of emails, social media, or household demands. She wasn't just dabbling. She was making real progress on her canvases.
So, she wasn't just carving out time, but that quiet, focused time was actually more productive for her art than trying to squeeze it in later?
That's the key. The mental clarity and focus she gained from those early mornings spilled over into the rest of her day. She felt more patient with her children, more efficient at work, and generally less stressed. Her initial goal of just having an hour for herself blossomed into a complete shift in her well-being and her ability to pursue her passions. She's now even started selling her work at local galleries.
That's fantastic. From feeling overwhelmed to pursuing a passion and finding success. It really shows that dedicating that time, even if it feels self-indulgent at first, can yield profound results in all areas of life. You're nurturing your own well-being, which then allows you to be better in all your roles.
Absolutely. And that brings us to Mark. Mark was working in a field he no longer found fulfilling. He was in a stable job, but he felt a deep sense of dissatisfaction, a lack of purpose. He had always been interested in sustainable agriculture, but he thought it was just a hobby, something he'd never have the time or resources to pursue seriously.
This is another common dilemma, isn't it? Feeling stuck in a career and yearning for something more meaningful, but feeling the inertia of your current life holding you back.
Very much so. Mark decided to use his 5 a.m. hour to start learning. He began waking up at 5 a.m. to read books, listen to podcasts, and take online courses related to organic farming and sustainable practices. He treated it like a second job, a passion project he was diligently working on.
So, instead of just thinking about a career change, he was actively building the knowledge and skills for it during his mornings.
Exactly. He was laying the groundwork. After about 6 months of consistent early morning learning, he felt confident enough to start a small urban garden in his backyard. He experimented, learned from his mistakes, and refined his techniques. This hands-on experience, combined with his morning studies, gave him the confidence to take the leap.
And what happened then? Did he just quit his job?
Not immediately. He started small, selling produce at a local farmer's market on weekends. The income was modest, but it proved the concept and gave him more real-world experience. His consistent early mornings allowed him to develop his business plan, secure some small funding, and eventually he was able to transition out of his old job and fully dedicate himself to his urban farm. Now he runs a successful small-scale farm and provides fresh, local produce to his community.
That's an incredible transformation, Alex. From a job he was unhappy with to building a business and living his dream, all powered by those early morning hours. It's proof that the 5 a.m. routine isn't just about productivity. It's about intentionality and creating the life you want, brick by brick, or in Mark's case, seedling by seedling.
It really is. Both Emily and Mark started with a simple desire for more time. Emily for her art, Mark for his passion. They didn't have grand plans initially, but by consistently showing up for themselves during those quiet morning hours, they created the space, the knowledge, and the momentum to make significant, life-altering changes.
It's inspiring to see how dedicating that focused, uninterrupted time can lead to such different, yet equally impactful, outcomes. Emily found her creative fulfillment and emotional well-being, while Mark achieved a complete career pivot and created a business that aligns with his values.
These stories reinforce a core message. The 5 a.m. advantage is about more than just waking up early. It's about taking control of your time and energy to invest in what matters most to you. It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
So, to recap for our listeners, Emily, the parent and artist, used her 5 a.m. hour for dedicated creative work, which improved her focus and well-being, leading her to sell her art. And Mark, who felt unfulfilled in his career, used his 5 a.m. hour for learning and skill building, which eventually allowed him to transition into a successful career in sustainable agriculture. These are powerful examples of how the principles we've been discussing can truly transform lives.
They certainly are. And these individual triumphs are exactly why we're so passionate about the 5 a.m. advantage. Troubleshooting common morning routine roadblocks is what we'll discuss next.
Happy learning!
Welcome back. Last time, we shared inspiring stories. Now, let's tackle common roadblocks in your routine.
That's right, Alex. Because even the best laid plans can hit a snag. Life happens, motivation dips, and sometimes our perfectly crafted morning blueprint feels more like a fantasy. So today we're shifting gears to address those common roadblocks and, more importantly, how to navigate them.
Exactly. Think of this as your troubleshooting guide. We've spent the last 12 episodes building a solid understanding of why a 5 a.m. routine works, how to design it, and what key elements to include. Now we're focusing on the what ifs and the how TOS when things get a little bumpy.
So, Alex, what's one of the most common roadblocks listeners bring up when they're trying to establish a new morning routine? I imagine it's something about motivation.
You've hit the nail on the head, Lisa. Motivation ebbs and flows. It's completely natural. We all have days when waking up early feels like wrestling a bear. The key isn't to always feel motivated, but to have strategies for when that motivation wanes. Remember when we talked about your why in episode 1? That's your first line of defense.
Ah, yes.
The deep seated reason for wanting this change. Revisiting that core purpose can be a powerful jolt. So, for those days when the alarm feels like a personal attack, what's the actionable advice?
It's about lowering the barrier to entry. If your goal is to journal, but the thought of filling a blank page feels overwhelming, commit to just one sentence. If you planned a 30-minute workout, but you're really struggling, aim for 5 minutes of stretching. Make it so easy to start that you cannot do it. This is about building momentum, not achieving perfection on the toughest days.
I love that, making it achievable. So, it's not about abandoning the intention, but scaling it down to fit your current energy level. That's a great way to avoid that all or nothing thinking that can derail progress.
Precisely. And this ties into the second major roadblock, unexpected schedule disruptions. Life isn't static. Maybe you have a late night event, a sick child, or a work deadline that pushes your bedtime back. What do you do then? Do you just give up on the 5 a.m. wake up?
That's the tempting path, isn't it? Well, I got to bed late, so I'll just sleep in. But that can create a domino effect.
It absolutely can. Instead of abandoning your routine, the advice is to adapt it. If you know you're going to get less sleep, perhaps a shorter, more focused morning routine is in order. Maybe you skip the longer meditation and opt for a quick power walk. Or perhaps your evening routine needs to be prioritized even more on those nights to ensure you're still setting yourself up for success the next day.
So, flexibility is key.
It's about adjusting the sails, not sinking the ship. And thinking about the evening routine, which we covered in episode 4, that becomes even more critical when you've had a disrupted night. Preparing your clothes, your breakfast, your to-do list. All those things can make the morning transition smoother, even when you're tired.
Exactly. It's about giving yourself grace while still staying committed to the core principles. And this brings us to a third common challenge, perfectionism. We often see this when people try to implement all the ideal components of a morning routine at once. And when they inevitably falter, they feel like they've failed.
Oh, perfectionism. That's a tough one. It's like wanting to run a marathon without ever having trained. You set impossibly high standards and then get discouraged when you don't meet them immediately.
Right? So, the advice here is to embrace imperfection. Your morning routine is a living thing. It will evolve. Some days it will feel amazing, other days it will be clunky. That's okay. Focus on consistency over perfection. Aim to do something each morning rather than trying to do everything perfectly. Remember that gradual progress we talked about? This is where that really counts.
So, to recap the troubleshooting tips we've discussed. First, when motivation dips, make the task incredibly easy to start, focusing on a small win. Second, when your schedule gets disrupted, adapt your routine rather than abandoning it, leaning heavily on your evening preparation. And third, combat perfectionism by prioritizing consistency over flawlessness, accepting that some days will be better than others.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's about building resilience into your routine. Think about it like a plant. You don't get discouraged if it doesn't bloom overnight. You water it, you get sunlight, and you tend to it, understanding that growth takes time and sometimes a few wilted leaves are part of the process.
That's such a good analogy. And I think for anyone listening who might be facing these challenges, hearing that it's common and that there are practical solutions can be incredibly validating. It's not a sign that you're doing it wrong, but rather a sign that you're human and you're working on something significant.
Absolutely. We've talked about designing your routine and troubleshooting the bumps. Now it's time to make it stick.
Next episode, Building Lasting Habits. The 30-day challenge begins.
Welcome back to the 5 a.m. Advantage. We're kicking off something truly special, our 30-day habit building challenge.
That's right, Alex. We've spent the last 13 episodes diving deep into why a strong morning routine matters, debunking myths, and building that ideal blueprint. Now, it's time to put it all into action. For those listening, if you haven't already, now is the perfect time to commit. Think of this 30-day challenge as your dedicated sprint to making these positive changes stick.
Exactly, Lisa. This challenge isn't about perfection. It's about progress. We're going to walk through how to approach these next 30 days, focusing on integrating the core elements we've discussed, waking up intentionally, preparing the night before, and structuring that crucial first hour. Remember when we talked about crafting your ideal morning blueprint? This is where you bring that blueprint to life.
So, for our listeners, what does this 30-day challenge actually entail? How do we begin?
The foundation of this challenge is consistency. We're aiming to consistently apply the principles we've learned. Let's break down the first critical week. The primary goal for the initial days is simply to show up. If your blueprint includes waking at 5 a.m., the focus for the first few days is just to be awake at 5 a.m., rather than worrying about a perfectly executed hour. This might mean getting out of bed and just sitting with a glass of water or doing a few minutes of deep breathing.
So, it's about reducing the pressure initially and focusing on the fundamental action of waking up at the chosen time, rather than feeling like you have to be incredibly productive immediately.
Precisely. We're building the habit of being awake and present. Think of it like this. When you learn to ride a bike, you don't immediately do a wheelie. First, you learn to balance and pedal. Our 30-day challenge is about learning to balance and pedal your morning routine. So, for you, the listener, the first step this week is to commit to your intended wake-up time, ideally around 5 a.m., as we've explored.
And what about the evening preparation we discussed earlier? Is that part of this initial push?
Absolutely. Evening preparation is the unsung hero of a smooth morning. During this first week of the challenge, dedicate 5 to 10 minutes each evening to preparing for the next day. This could mean setting out your clothes, packing your lunch, or even just writing down your top 1 or 2 priorities for the morning. This small act drastically reduces morning friction.
That makes sense. It's like setting the stage so that when your alarm goes off, there are fewer decisions to make and fewer obstacles to navigate. It makes that intentional wake-up time so much more achievable.
Exactly. Now, as we move into week 2 of the challenge, we start layering in more elements from your blueprint. This is where you intentionally incorporate 1 or 2 specific activities from your ideal morning. If journaling was part of your plan, try to dedicate 5 or 10 minutes to it. If movement was on your list, aim for a short walk or some stretching. The key is to add 1 new element, not all of them at once.
This is the progressive building we talked about. We're not trying to revolutionize everything overnight. We're adding pieces strategically to build momentum. So, week 1 is about the wake up and evening prep, and week 2 is about adding 1 core activity from the morning itself.
You've got it. And this progressive approach continues. In week 3, you might add another element, perhaps focusing on your first hour productivity framework. Maybe you choose to spend the first 20 minutes of your day focused on a single, high-impact task. By the end of week 3, you'll likely have 3 to 4 core components of your morning routine consistently in place.
This phased approach seems much more manageable than trying to overhaul everything immediately. It acknowledges that building habits takes time and that we need to allow ourselves to adapt.
And that's precisely the mindset we need for the final week, week 4. By now, you should have a solid foundation. Week 4 is about reinforcing these newly formed habits and becoming more aware of your energy levels and focus. This is where you might start to experiment with timing or slightly adjust the activities based on what's working best for you. Remember when we discussed troubleshooting? This is where you apply those skills to your emerging routine. Are you feeling energetic at 6 a.m.? Perhaps you shift your most demanding task then.
So, across these 4 weeks, we're essentially guiding listeners through a structured implementation of their personal blueprints. It's about starting with the most fundamental habit, waking up, and gradually layering in other practices.
And to support you through this, we encourage you to keep a simple challenge log. This doesn't need to be fancy. A notebook or a simple note on your phone will do. Just mark down each day you complete your intended wake up and evening prep. Then, as you add activities, log those too. This visual record is incredibly powerful for motivation and tracking progress. It's a tangible representation of your commitment.
A challenge log, that's a great idea for accountability. Seeing those check marks build up would be really encouraging. And speaking of accountability, we want to emphasize that this is a journey, and there will be days that are harder than others. On those days, the goal is simply to get back on track the next morning. Don't let one off day derail your entire challenge. We talked about this concept when debunking the snooze button. It's about making conscious choices.
Absolutely. The 30-day challenge is your intentional period of focus. It's designed to help you move from knowing what to do to doing it consistently. It's about building the muscle memory for these positive morning behaviors. Imagine the feeling of accomplishment after 30 consecutive days of respecting your morning.
It makes you wonder what's possible once these habits are more ingrained. For our listeners beginning today, the advice is clear. Commit to your wake-up time, prepare the night before, and gradually integrate the elements of your personal morning blueprint week by week. Start simple, build complexity, and track your progress.
And remember, this challenge isn't an endpoint. It's the beginning of a lifelong practice. The habits you build in these 30 days will form the robust foundation for sustained success with your 5 a.m. advantage. We're excited for you to embark on this journey.
We truly are.
Next time, we'll explore sustaining momentum and avoiding burnout. Welcome back. Last time, we kicked off our 30-day challenge to build lasting habits. Today, let's talk about sustaining that momentum and avoiding burnout.
That's such a vital topic, Alex. It's one thing to start strong, but keeping it going is where the real magic happens. We've all been there, right? You're super motivated for a week, maybe 2, and then life throws a curveball, or you just start feeling tired. Burnout is the silent killer of good intentions.
Exactly, Lisa. And that's precisely why, as we're nearing the end of our 30-day challenge, we need to talk about how to keep this going long term. The goal isn't just to survive 30 days, it's to build a sustainable lifestyle that benefits you consistently. So, how do we keep that initial spark from fizzling out? And how do we protect ourselves from hitting that wall?
I think the first key is recognizing that a new habit isn't a rigid, unbreakable monolith. We need to build in flexibility. Remember how we talked about crafting your ideal morning blueprint earlier? This is where that flexibility from your blueprint comes into play.
Absolutely. Life isn't always a perfectly planned 5 a.m. wake-up call with all the stars aligned. Sometimes you get a bad night's sleep, or a family member is sick, or work demands an unexpected early start. If your routine is so inflexible that one missed session completely derails you, then it's not sustainable. This is where self-compassion is paramount.
Self-compassion. That's a great phrase. Instead of beating ourselves up when we deviate from the plan, we need to acknowledge it, learn from it, and gently get back on track. It's not about perfection, it's about progress and resilience.
Precisely. Think of it like this. If you're training for a marathon and you miss a training run because you're feeling unwell, do you quit running altogether? No. You rest, recover, and then you pick up your training. Your morning routine is no different. Acknowledge the slip, understand why it happened, and then recommit to the next scheduled session. This isn't a pass to completely abandon your goals, but it prevents a minor setback from becoming a total collapse.
So, we've got flexibility, self-compassion. What else? I feel like adaptation is also really important. Our needs and circumstances change over time. What works perfectly for you today might need tweaking in 6 months.
That's spot on. Continuous adaptation is key. Your 5 a.m. routine isn't static. It's a living, breathing part of your life that should evolve with you. As you get better at waking up early, you might find you have more energy and can incorporate new activities. Or conversely, you might realize that your current sequence isn't serving you as well, and you need to adjust the timing or the activities themselves. Don't be afraid to revisit your morning blueprint and make modifications.
It's like fine-tuning an engine. You don't just set it and forget it. You check the oil, you adjust the carburetor. We need to be proactive in tweaking our routines. This also ties back to checking in with ourselves. How are we feeling? Are we energized, or are we dragging ourselves through the day?
That's a great point. Regular check-ins are essential for preventing burnout. Are you experiencing consistent fatigue, irritability, or a lack of motivation? These are red flags. It might mean your routine is too demanding or you're not getting enough rest overall. Remember, your 5 a.m. routine is only one piece of the puzzle. Your sleep hygiene, your diet, your stress management, all of these play a huge role in your ability to sustain your morning efforts.
So, even with an amazing morning routine, if you're consistently burning the candle at both ends late at night, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's about a holistic approach to well-being.
Couldn't agree more. And this is where we could draw on some of the lessons from our real-life 5 a.m. success stories episodes earlier. What did those individuals do when things got tough? They often spoke about having accountability partners, or finding joy in the process, or simply reminding themselves why they started in the first place.
That why is so powerful. We explored that when we talked about crafting your ideal morning blueprint, revisiting your core motivation. Why do you want this 5 a.m. advantage? Is it for personal growth, professional success, health, or peace of mind? Connecting back to that purpose can reignite your drive when it starts to wane.
Exactly. And sometimes sustaining momentum isn't about doing more, it's about doing smarter. This is where we can start thinking about some of the advanced techniques we'll cover later. But for now, let's recap the key strategies for sustaining momentum and avoiding burnout. First, embrace flexibility. Your routine shouldn't be so rigid that one missed day derails you.
Second, practice self-compassion. Instead of self-criticism, focus on learning and gently getting back on track. It's about progress, not perfection.
Third, commit to continuous adaptation. Your routine should evolve with your life and your needs. Regularly reassess and tweak it.
And fourth, conduct regular self-check-ins. Pay attention to your energy levels and overall well-being. If you're feeling burned out, look at the bigger picture of your lifestyle, not just your morning routine.
Those are critical pillars. It's about building a resilient system, not just a rigid schedule. This approach ensures that your 5 a.m. advantage becomes a sustainable source of energy and productivity, rather than a fleeting experiment that leaves you exhausted. It's about the long game, not just the sprint.
So, as we wrap up this episode and head towards the final leg of our 30-day challenge, remember these principles. Don't let a stumble turn into a fall. Be kind to yourself, stay adaptable, and keep your why front and center.
Next episode, advanced morning productivity techniques. Welcome back to the 5 a.m. Advantage. We've laid a strong foundation for your early morning success.
And we've delved into journaling, movement, and nutrition, plus the importance of a digital detox. We even shared success stories and learned how to sustain momentum.
That's right, Lisa. We've built a robust system. Now, for episode 16, it's time to go a little deeper. We're going to explore advanced morning productivity techniques that can truly elevate your 5 a.m. hour from simply good to absolutely extraordinary.
Advanced techniques?
I'm intrigued.
I feel like I've got the basics down, but I'm always looking for ways to maximize my time and my focus. What's first on the advanced agenda?
First up, let's talk about deep work. You might have heard this term before. The idea behind deep work, popularized by author Cal Newport, is to focus without distraction on a task that is cognitively demanding. It's the kind of work that pushes your abilities to their limit.
So, essentially, the opposite of multitasking or constantly checking emails.
Precisely. In the context of your 5 a.m. hour, deep work means dedicating a significant, uninterrupted block of time to your most important complex tasks. Think of it like sculpting. You wouldn't try to chip away at a block of marble while a noisy construction crew is working next door, would you? You need quiet concentration to create something meaningful.
That's a great analogy. So, how do you actually implement deep work in your morning routine?
It starts with choosing your most vital task for the day. This is likely something that requires significant mental energy and moves you closer to your biggest goals. Then, you schedule a dedicated block, say 60 to 90 minutes, where you completely eliminate distractions. This means no phone notifications, no email, no social media, and even letting household members know you need this uninterrupted time.
And the key is to actually do the work, not just sit there trying to focus. The cognitive demand is important.
Exactly. It should challenge you. The benefits are incredible. Higher quality output, faster completion times, and a real sense of accomplishment. To make this even more powerful, we can weave in mindfulness practices.
Mindfulness is something we hear a lot about. How does that complement deep work in the early morning?
Mindfulness, at its core, is about present moment awareness without judgment. When you're focused on being present, you're naturally less prone to distraction. Before your deep work session, you could dedicate just 5 to 10 minutes to a simple mindfulness exercise. This could be a guided meditation, focusing on your breath, or even a mindful moment of appreciating your surroundings.
So, it's like clearing the mental clutter that might otherwise interrupt your deep work?
Exactly. It prepares your mind for focused attention. It's like doing a quick warm-up before a strenuous workout. You're not just diving in, you're getting your mental muscles ready to perform at their peak. This practice helps you recognize when your mind starts to wander during your deep work session, allowing you to gently guide it back to the task at hand.
I can see how that would be incredibly effective. So, deep work for focused tasks and mindfulness to prepare the mind. What else is on the advanced menu?
Next, let's consider specialized learning methods. Many of us want to learn new skills or acquire new knowledge, and the early morning is a prime time for this. Instead of just passively reading or watching tutorials, try more active learning techniques.
Active learning. Can you give me an example?
Sure, instead of just reading a chapter in a book, try summarization. After each section, pause and try to explain the key concepts in your own words, perhaps even writing them down. Another powerful technique is spaced repetition, which involves reviewing information at increasing intervals.
I've heard of spaced repetition. It's about reinforcing what you've learned so it sticks in your long-term memory.
That's it. You can use flashcards or digital apps designed for this. The idea is to revisit material just as you're about to forget it. This method is incredibly effective for memorizing facts, vocabulary, or complex concepts. So, rather than cramming, you're steadily building a strong memory foundation.
That makes so much sense. Instead of just consuming information, you're actively engaging with it to make sure it truly lands. And this can be done right after your deep work or perhaps on alternate mornings.
Indeed, you can carve out a specific slot for it. Another advanced technique is time boxing. We've touched on scheduling, but time boxing takes it a step further. You assign a fixed, short time period to a specific task. For instance, 25 minutes for answering emails, followed by a 5-minute break.
Like the Pomodoro technique, but perhaps applied more broadly to any task.
Precisely. It creates a sense of urgency and helps prevent tasks from expanding to fill all available time. It's a powerful way to maintain momentum and ensure you're moving through your to-do list efficiently. You're not just working until it's done, you're working until the time is up, then reassessing.
So if I have a big project, I could time box specific subtasks within that project. For example, research phase for 45 minutes, followed by a break, then outline creation for 30 minutes.
Exactly. You create small, achievable sprints. This also helps combat procrastination, as it lowers the barrier to entry for starting a task. Committing to just 25 minutes often feels much more manageable than facing an hours-long endeavor.
And a quick break every 25 minutes sounds like a good way to avoid burnout, which we discussed in the last episode.
Absolutely. These advanced techniques are all about working smarter, not just harder or earlier. They're about optimizing your mental energy, enhancing your learning capabilities, and structuring your time with precision. So, to recap for our listeners, we've explored deep work for intense, distraction-free focus on your most critical tasks.
We've also looked at integrating mindfulness to prepare your mind for that focus and recognize distractions.
Then, we discussed active learning methods like summarization and spaced repetition to make your learning more impactful and memorable.
And finally, time boxing to create focused work sprints and maintain momentum. These are powerful tools for anyone looking to truly excel in their early morning hours.
They are. These techniques, when practiced consistently, amplify the benefits of waking up early, transforming your 5 a.m. advantage into a sustainable engine for growth and achievement.
This has been incredibly insightful, Alex. It really feels like we're equipping listeners with the next level of strategies.
It's all about continually refining and optimizing. We've covered so much ground in helping you establish and now enhance your morning routine.
Indeed. Next episode, your 5 a.m. advantage, a lifelong journey.
Welcome back for the final episode of the 5 a.m. Advantage.
That's right, Alex. It's been an amazing series, and I'm so excited to bring it all together. We've covered so much ground, from the psychology behind waking early to practical frameworks for designing your perfect morning.
Absolutely, Lisa. We started by asking why 5 a.m., exploring the cognitive and emotional benefits of those quiet, early hours. Remember, those first moments of the day set the tone. If you're rushing, stressed, or distracted, that's the energy you carry. But if you're intentional, those early hours can be your most powerful.
And we quickly learned to ditch the snooze button. In an earlier episode, we saw how it actually sabotages our intentions and makes us feel groggier. It's all about a decisive, intentional start to your day.
Precisely. Then, we moved into crafting your ideal morning blueprint. This wasn't about a one-size-fits-all plan, but about understanding your personal needs and goals to build a routine that truly serves you. We emphasize that your morning should be about you before the demands of the world kick in.
And evening preparation was a game changer for me. Thinking ahead, setting out clothes, packing your lunch, even just tidying up, it makes that early morning transition incredibly smooth. It's like laying the groundwork the night before.
Exactly. We also tackled the often dreaded sleep inertia, that heavy, groggy feeling when you first wake up. We discussed strategies to overcome it, which often involves gentle wake-ups and immediate engagement with your environment. It's about training your body and mind to be ready.
Then we dove into the first hour productivity framework. This really highlighted how to use those precious early moments effectively. We talked about prioritizing tasks that require focus and how to build momentum right from the start.
And what better way to harness that focus than through journaling? We explored how journaling can be a powerful tool for clarity, self-reflection, and emotional processing. It's a chance to download your thoughts and plan your day with a clear head.
Movement as a morning catalyst was another favorite. Getting your body moving, whether it's a brisk walk or a few stretches, wakes up your system and releases endorphins. It's a fantastic way to shake off any lingering grogginess and boost your energy.
And of course, no morning routine is complete without proper fuel. We focused on nourishing your body with healthy breakfast options that provide sustained energy, avoiding that mid-morning slump.
We then had a crucial discussion about digital detox. This was all about reclaiming your morning focus from the constant barrage of notifications and emails. It's about being intentional with your screen time, especially in those first few hours.
And for inspiration, we shared real-life success stories in a couple of episodes. Hearing how others have transformed their lives with a 5 a.m. routine really drives home the possibilities and helps us feel less alone in our journey.
Troubleshooting common roadblocks was so practical. Life happens, right? We discussed how to handle travel, sickness, or unexpected disruptions without completely derailing your progress. It's about flexibility and resilience.
Then, we officially kicked off the 30-day challenge. That was about building the habit, focusing on consistency, and making that early wake-up a non-negotiable part of your week.
And crucially, we talked about sustaining momentum and avoiding burnout. It's not just about starting strong, it's about creating a routine that is sustainable long term, one that energizes rather than exhausts you.
Which brings us to advanced productivity techniques. This was about taking your established routine and optimizing it further, incorporating deeper, focused methods and mindful practices to maximize your effectiveness.
And now here we are, the grand finale. Alex, what's the ultimate message for our listeners as they continue their 5 a.m. journey?
The ultimate message, Lisa, is that your 5 a.m. advantage isn't a destination. It's a lifelong journey. It's about continuous learning, adaptation, and self-discovery. The principles we've discussed, intention, preparation, focus, and self-care, are your compass.
So, how do they keep this going? What's the roadmap for sustained success?
First, embrace flexibility. Life will throw curveballs. Think of your routine as a strong tree with flexible branches. It can bend without breaking. If you miss a day or two, don't despair. Simply return to your plan with renewed commitment. Remember, perfection is the enemy of progress.
That's such a relief to hear. It's not about being a robot.
Exactly. Second, continue to refine. Your needs and circumstances will change over time. Periodically review your routine. What's working? What's not? Are there new goals you want to incorporate? Your 5 a.m. routine should evolve with you.
So, it's an ongoing experiment.
Precisely. Third, stay connected. Whether it's through online communities, accountability partners, or even just sharing your progress with friends, having a support system can be incredibly motivating. Knowing others are on a similar path makes it easier.
And finally, Alex,
Finally, celebrate your wins. Acknowledge how far you've come. Every time you honor your commitment to yourself, you build confidence and reinforce the habit. Your 5 a.m. advantage is a powerful gift you give yourself every single day. It's about unlocking your potential, finding peace in the quiet, and living a more intentional, fulfilling life.
it really is a 5 a.m. advantage, a lifelong journey of growth and intentionality. We've covered so much, from the early wake up itself to crafting personalized routines, overcoming obstacles, and sustaining momentum. The core message has always been about taking control of your mornings to shape a more empowered life.
Thank you all for joining us on this incredible series. We hope you've gained the tools and inspiration to make your 5 a.m. advantage a lasting part of your life. Thanks for listening to the series.